Tanya Paxett, the Truthpreneur here, and I have Elias. I love this guy. He is so freaking awesome. I've been working with him. He is with thenewrichlife.com, and you can also do a /subscribe if you want to get his new audiobook that he just put out there. Very excited to hear about that, and definitely going to get that on my own. I've definitely been working with Elias for, I don't know, it's maybe a month or two or something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. He is like just phenomenal in copy and marketing and launching and all that great stuff. And so he is actually helping me with my launch. And as we've gotten to know each other, and the launch is for the Simplify Your Life, Streamline Your Business book that I'm coming out with. And as we've gotten to know each other, he's really blown my mind, honestly. His story is phenomenal. And I definitely would not want to go through the things that he's gone through, but at the same time, I'm looking at a miracle right here, and he's just really blessed me. He always makes me laugh. I tell you what. And if you're not seeing his smile, I mean, yeah, like look at his smile. It's just like, I love it. And so we always have a really great time together. So I was like, hey, would you come on the show and really talk to entrepreneurs about your life? Because this is the moments of truth. And you know, while I help people simplify your life and streamline your business, I also notice there's a lot behind the scenes that individuals don't share, and they don't really get to see as a business owner or an entrepreneur. There's a lot of things that individuals go through, and things might look great, but just because you have a professional headshot and your graphics look great does not mean that you don't go through a lot of crap. And so, you know, Elias, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you before we actually get into some of the fun questions and revealing, you know, your moments of truth. Definitely, if you guys are on here, just tweet this out, Facebook it, and definitely. And you can give him props by hitting the little hand, two little hands like this. You can give him props. Tell him that you believe in him. So go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
Well, hey there, friend Tanya. Thanks so much for having me. I am Elias, as she already introduced me. Those were some very big words, but I love it. I'm going to take them to heart. I just love it. And so I'm a 20-something-year-old at the time of recording. I'm 23 years old. I live in Brussels, Belgium, and I've been married nearly 3 years to well, in my opinion, the most amazing person around. So she really enriches my life and is definitely a big part of my why behind pretty much everything that I do, that I dab my toes in, that I experiment with. And yeah, I've been through some stuff, which is obviously pretty much the topic of this podcast. But I consider myself definitely like a conqueror of all of that stuff, because I've definitely come out at the other end of that tunnel or whatever much better than I was before. And right now I pretty much I try to do the things that I like to do, and I think that I've wasted enough time. So that is a little bit about moi.
And well, hold on. First, tell them, how do you pronounce your name the right way?
Oh wow.
Because I said it differently. You know, I said it the other way, and I want to make sure that people know that I actually do know your name.
Well, the way to pronounce it, well, correctly, because over here they say it, over here in Belgium they say it one way. Even in the Netherlands they say it another way. But over here in Brussels, Belgium, it's Elias Schroons. My last name has never ever been pronounced correctly by an English-speaking person, which is.
What was it? Schroons?
Yes, that is what people. That's what people say, but it's Schroons. It's yeah. Maybe we should not go this. Maybe we should not go this way, because I have tried it with many people, and so far no victors.
All right, well, I'm definitely going to keep doing that, and then I'm going live to do a video, and I'm tagging you on it when I get it.
Yeah,
so.
you probably will.
All right, so you are the founder of The New Rich Life, and I know that you obviously help with virtual assistant. You love to help people, especially business owners, entrepreneurs, be able to really step into their dream, and because you've done that, and that individuals have difficulties being able to figure out how to do that specifically, and so you've really taken a pride in doing that. So can you just tell me your moment of truth? Like, when did you really say, I'm going to live? And I know that you have that story behind it, so that's really a big moment, but it kind of all goes together, with
Yeah.
with your.
Do you want me to talk already about the story, or do you?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, so I was born with HIV. I'm actually, so I was born with HIV. So that was in 1992. So there's already a hardship at that time. The medical community or whatever wasn't. They felt like they weren't advanced enough to actually treat it correctly. And the doctors actually gave me sort of like a death sentence and told my parents that I wouldn't live to see the year 2000.
Wow.
So that happened, and and then in 1999, so when 7 years after, when I'm 7 years, I am diagnosed with cancer. Which the doctors pretty much see as like the beginning of the end kind of thing, which is where my dad also tells me, like, you have HIV and this stuff has been going on, and all that quote unquote good stuff. So I was 7. I don't have tons of memories from that period, but I do remember like the chemo and the radiation and the being bald, and that there was something very different with me than there were in relative to kids my age back then. It was something very interesting, and so that happened. Then in 2002, so at this time, so 1 month before my 10th, yeah, 1 month before my 10th birthday, my mom passes away. So that is shocker, obviously, and so that also happened, and then so that was 2002, and by then the cancer was completely I was completely cured of that cancer. I didn't have any difficulties with that cancer. I was still going in for some semi-annual or trimestral checkups, obviously, but there wasn't anything going on. I was quote unquote healthy as I possibly could be at the time. But this was kind of like a milestone, because before the year 2000, I already beat cancer, and I already surpassed the kind of death sentence the doctors gave me. So I saw the new millennium, and yeah, clearly 2016, I'm still around. So then we go a little bit further into that, and then when I'm in high school, I think it was the year 2008, where I feel this little lump. My gland is swollen, and we're all fearing the worst. My parents are fearing the worst, because by then my dad had remarried. So my parents were fearing the worst. I was fearing the worst, and then the doctors also were fearing the worst. And almost with this kind of, there wasn't a lot of drama going on. There weren't a lot of emotions involved, because we pretty much all knew collectively what this meant, which maybe was helpful to start that new adventure. But then then they cut a piece of the gland to test it. Then those lab results come back, and then the exact same cancer I had when I was 7 is now back. I was 15 at the time when it came back, and
Wow.
then yeah, and then there was the chemotherapy, the radiation, and the hair loss, and the feeling kind of weak sometimes, and all that stuff. But those treatments actually didn't work. The cancer had spread to my spine, which is not a good thing, obviously. And then they try to, like, I know, amp up, for lack of a better word, the therapy and going more aggressive with it, but that didn't help as well. And then in July 2010, right now we're at, so a couple of months before my 18th birthday, they tell me that there is this, that I have one more shot at this, and they propose to me this kind of treatment where they take my blood and they take my stem cells out of that blood, and then the point is the strategy is to pretty much shut down my immune system completely. With very aggressive chemo. I had to be in quarantine for 22 days as well. And I only had a 50-50 shot of that kind of treatment working. So it actually gave me the choice, because at that time I was pretty much, it was already over 2 years that I was dealing with that cancer. Again, I was feeling crappy. I had very, like, dark thoughts and very depressed kind of mood. So by then they actually gave me the choice, and I was seriously considering just not even taking that risk and just letting it all, and just letting the cards fall wherever they fall. But I went with the therapy, obviously, because I'm here, and I beat that. Those 50% odds were in my favor. And November 2010, so little over 5 years ago, I got the call from my oncologist that I was in remission, and ever since I have been being healthy as much as I can be. And yeah, then I turned 18.
Wow. It's like, yeah, this all happened. Yeah, wow. And that's just crazy. It's like, okay, so, from just kind of being dealt a different kind of cards, from birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
HIV,
Mm-hmm.
then cancer, and then mom, and then even something might be little, but it's still big. Your dad remarrying, that's still big. It's very emotional. It's a very big
Mm-hmm.
transition, and you chose to accept it, obviously, because I hear you say parents, and that's really awesome. So, like, my question to you is, how in the world did you just keep up your dream? Like, you knew you wanted to help other people. You knew that this was like, I beat this, and people have been, dealt not even as worse, and they give up on their dream. So, like, what really was that thing? Like, when you're in quarantine, what do you think about for 22 days? Like, how did you know that you were going to get out of this and you were going to, like, inspire people?
Well, I think that what helped me in that moment, how weird it may sound, is that I didn't know. Is that it was an adventure for me. I didn't know whatever the outcome would be, and that obviously changes your perspective of the world and how you function in it. And then you obviously start to see time as, like, the most precious asset. Life is short and all that good stuff. And I actually would kind of mix up what you just said. I don't think before those experiences, before that 50-50 shot treatment, that I ever had any aspirations of even becoming my own boss, or even helping other people achieve their dreams or their goals, or helping them grow their businesses. But after that, then it came, because I overcame all that, and I wanted to seize life.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like, individuals that might know my story just know that, my husband was murdered in a hit and run motorcycle accident, and leaving me with a child, and all these new things, me being very, very young in my 20s. And, it's funny how we want to grab a hold of life and seize life when we've already,
Mm-hmm.
like, when we're going through something.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of, we have to sometimes get knocked off our butt a bit, before we actually step in and say, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I'm glad that that you have done that, you know? So when you're dealing with the individuals that you deal with, and you know, your clients and the individuals within your business that are attached to you,
Mhm.
what is that motivation within yourself? Is it the stories and the life experiences that you've had that really help you have such joy? Because we laugh all the time. We don't get, you know, super serious. We just have a really, really, really good time. And it's such a pleasure to work with you. And, you know, to the point where I'm like, no, we're going to meet. You know what I mean? I'm going to be able to, like, you know, give you a big hug. And I'm so excited just to know you and your wife. Like, she is freaking awesome. I just love talking to her too. And so, like, you know, what is that driving force when you're dealing with your clients?
I think that the driving force is, after those experiences, I needed to figure out what stuff I actually liked doing. We're all wired differently. Not everybody has the same kind of passions or aspirations or whatever. And so I went down that self-discovery road, or or something, and I discovered that I just really like to help people, and I think that that is also what I'm best at. um, which is, I think it's definitely one of like my assets and something that I have to offer the world. And since I'm able to offer it to the world, I live in Belgium. We're a relatively good country to be in socially and whatever, very good conditions and all that. And so I can offer it. So why not offer it?
Yeah. Do you think what drives you is your past experiences?
I think it's a very big motivator to, because I've known where I've been, and I know how that experience changed me. So it's definitely always with me, obviously, in a way, like, this is where I've been, this is what I've experienced, this was my journey back then, and it's definitely somewhere in the mix whenever I'm out there wanting to help somebody.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you never forget it, but at the same time, it's like it's not all about it's not like who you are at the same time. Like, you don't want to be defined and labeled as your past per se,
Yeah. Hmm.
but you want to be able to use it as that skill set. And I say skill set because, you know, when you see other people going through things, or if your client is sick or whatever, you have a different compassion, a different, you know, understanding that you
Hmm. Yeah.
leverage, that you use because of that past. So, yeah. Oh, I got props on that. Woo,
Oh
woo,
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
woo,
Think I just broke my button.
woo. Oh my gosh, too much. So, what is so then you're like you know, you obviously help people through a virtual assistant, which, you know, you've helped me in so many ways. What is the New Rich Life about? Like, what, obviously, you know, you have become this amazing person, and, you know, stepping into that entrepreneurship wholeheartedly and saying, I'm doing this full time, I'm going at it no matter the sacrifice.
Hmm.
Is the New Rich Life a different story, or coming at it from a different perspective, or is it still being a virtual assistant and, you know, helping entrepreneurs in a different way?
It's kind of like an umbrella thing. The newrichlife.com is pretty much the big umbrella, that community, the lifestyle community is all about, helping others, and also like documenting my journey towards that kind of lifestyle where you are, where you're free to design your life how whichever way you want. If you want to have one project full time, or if you want to have two projects part time, or whatever. And so my copywriting and my virtual assistant and my online marketing stuff, is something that I want to do. So doing those kinds of services is part of my new rich life. Those things make me feel fulfilled on a personal level. I like helping people, and that is kind of, so the copywriting and the services I offer are pretty much I know, a sub umbrella or or something, or a subset. They're part of my new rich life.
That's awesome. So like in hearing your journey, um, it's kind of funny because you took a different twist than many people, right? So like people have a health issue and so then they become a health coach. Or, you know, they have a tragic accident or something and they become a life coach or, you know, whichever. And you know, you had your health issues, but it turned into I want to help other people build a business and do what they love to do. So I think that's really cool how you know it shows that just because you've gone through one thing, a lot of people think that they have to take that and make it their ultimate passion and life story and build this business off of it, and you really don't. You can use it as leverage to just say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna grab life, you know, and seize that moment and do what I do, but you don't have to build a business off of it. So that's really like refreshing, I'm sure, to, you know, the individuals watching this or, you know, live or even just in the replay. Uh, so how did you find, how did you find out that you liked copy and marketing and that you wanted the audience as far as helping entrepreneurs? Like what was that moment of truth for you where you actually, I'm sure you always like to write. Am I right? Like,
Oh yeah. Oh
okay.
yeah.
So it's obviously a skill set, but how did you know that you wanted to take that skill set and that you wouldn't get so sick of it later on? You know how you're just like most people say, oh, I don't want to do what I love because then that means that I'm going to hate it later. And I think that if you leverage it and you do it the right way, that you'll still be so much in love with that as you were just doing it for free. So what was your journey on that? Like your moment of truth for that moment?
Well, my journey for that, well, on the copywriting side of things, I started writing actually when I had cancer and I was in the hospital, and the nurses brought in this old Mac computer. It was kind of like a privilege to me or whatever. And then I just started typing up stuff, and then the next morning the nurses came in and I had a couple of pages written, and it was obviously the story wasn't that good, but it turned out that I had a knack for writing, and I really liked doing that. And so after all that stuff, and I went on that road of self-discovery, and what I like to do is I still like writing, and I know that words can, and I know that words copy can help businesses, can help people, can help organizations grow, start even. And it's all tied in with the concept of helping other people grow. I'm very convinced, and it's sort of like a mantra to me of that quote by Zig Ziglar: "Stop selling, start helping." And
Yeah.
stuff just comes back to you in a very good way if you put it out in a very good way. So why not? Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
writing. No, that, yeah, it is. It's a very, very good thing. So when you were going on your journey for that, did you just jump out and say, okay, I'm gonna do, you know, copy? And then did you jump out from there and say, you know what, I'm really liking this marketing thing. It's kind of cool helping people get their word out, you know? Like, how did you know exactly, you know, what you were going to do? Because okay, so you have cancer, you're on that bed, you start to see that you really like writing, like it's exciting and you like it. And so you know you're going to do something with writing because it's a self-expression, right?
Mhm.
But then what? Like, you know, how did you step into marketing and some of the other things that you know what I mean? That you were like, okay,
Yeah,
this is what I'm going to do.
like the new stuff apart from the writing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it all started with me allowing myself to not be that narrow-minded in the concept of I'm in copywriting, so I need to stick with copywriting. I've allowed myself to be open-minded to new things. I'm so not the person to just have one thing and stick with that one thing forever and ever, as you know. Um, so I just started. I just started doing stuff and I started dabbling stuff. And if I failed and if the whole project flunked, then it flunked. All right, that's great. The greatest, I think, the greatest dishonor you can do to yourself is to not take action on what you want to take action. It turned out that I just liked marketing. I tried it, I liked it, so now I'm doing it. Why not? I like doing Facebook ads. I like doing it. I tried it, so why not? Um, so those are kind of my things. It pretty much comes down to, at least in my experience, to um, allowing myself that there are other things that I could possibly be interested in and spend some time on, which I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they have this fear of stepping out, like this
Mhm.
fear of, just living. So have you always been this open-minded though? Or what, you know,
Very,
no?
sorry, go ahead.
So
No, not at all.
so what
I
what
was,
ste what did that? Was it the sickness or the life issues that you've been through or what?
I think, very traditionally in this Western culture, it's pretty much the norm that you can be a jack of all trades, that you need to be a specialist in one thing, you need to stick with that one thing.
Mhm.
So but I always felt, and I pretty much always knew that that just wasn't me. But in the beginning, of all that stuff, I just tried to run with that, tried to run with the norm, try to fit in into some box that I was never, I think, created to fit in at all.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it just came to me kind of taking a step back because a lot of stuff was going wrong. I didn't like the job I was doing. I didn't like the way my life was. We had I started feeling bad. I started burning out, and then I took a step back and I self-examined myself again and saw the things that were wrong. And I noticed that I was trying to fit this kind of mold that somebody sometime ever placed on this culture and said you all need to fit into this mold. Um, and I realized that I could also not try to fit that mold, and that's what I did.
How were you scared to do that? Like what was going through your mind when you're like, okay, this is what, because when you're looking in general at, okay, I'm just going to go against the grain and I'm just going to be this out there person, hence, blue hair, but but from my perspective, pushing culture is very different because, individuals that you know individuals, oh, bye, thank you. Individuals that, are going through a lot, um, they're ran by the culture. They're ran by, okay, they imprison themselves. They put their own prison
Mhm.
there. You know what I mean? So were you afraid to kind of push past that, or did you just do it? And you know what I mean?
Well, actually, the answer to that is both. I was very afraid to put myself out there. I was very afraid to talk about my very liberal ideas, in the sense of I think that we're all meant for so much more than we're living. Um, but I also knew that even though I'm scared, if I don't try it, it won't happen. Nobody is going to knock on my door and give me the life that I would want to live. I need to start putting myself out there, and and again, it's with allowing myself also to fail. Some things might not work out. I'm sure of that, and that's okay. It's pretty much about like giving myself grace in those situations and not beating myself up too hard for it. Just learn from those mistakes, course correct if you can, course correct if you want to course correct, and yeah, just that.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this.
Yo.
You talked about, you know, and for those, just kind of jumping on and stuff like that, you talked about, from being born with HIV, then getting cancer, your mom passing away, your dad getting remarried, and everything before 18. It's like, wow. I mean, that's just wow. And so,
That's either a very bad movie or a very good one.
well, you made it a really good one. So, um, I know that it's probably really hard to just sit here and tell us your story because, you're going to get judged. This is going to go out, this is live, and, we're going to, do our stuff. And so what do you tell people? Because this is the thing. I know that when in entrepreneurship, as I was going out there, what really got people was my story, my testimony, what I went through, what God got me through. And obviously you've been blessed and God's got you through a whole lot, but it's kind of like, I still got to tell my story. And they detach their business with their story. So it's been really rough for you to be able to even sit here live and tell us something that's very personal and, that could backlash or not backlash.
Yeah.
So you tell me, what for you personally would you tell somebody that has a story either similar or just has a story period, that they need to merge with their business, they need to identify with it? How would you tell them that you were able to step out and just say, you know what, screw it, this is me, love me or not, like, this is what you get?
That's a really good question. I think what I would say to somebody, so I'm just going to imagine that person is sitting right in front of me and we're having this friendly cup of coffee together.
Yes, close your eyes, envision it.
Have some background ethereal music. Maybe some sage, but whatever. I think what I would say to that person is that it really all is a gift. Even though you're quote unquote not promised tomorrow, you're still alive today. And I think people need to stop living and doing things like they will live twice, because that's what I see a lot of people doing.
Wow.
They'll think that they push stuff aside or they don't do stuff, and they put it on the back burner until the time is right, whatever that may mean for them. But someday easily becomes kind of like a virus or a disease, and it's more of like a go-to response than it's more like it's more becoming the norm of whatever new ideas that you're having instead of the exception. So to pretty much recap that answer, I think with imagining that one person in front of me, I think you need to stop living like you will live twice. And people will love you. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I love, dude, I just want to like mail you an offering. Like, that was ridiculous. Like, honestly, if I could grab anything, that right there was amazing. I mean, stop doing things like you're going to live twice. And you know what? Honestly, if you really just sit back and you set your intention that way and you say, you know what, I'm going to set my intention to do this one thing. Like, I'm never going to be able to do it again. Like, I'm never going to have a retake. Like, I'm never going to do another show. Like, I'm, just even like with this Moments of Truth, it was just a fun show that I wanted to put together to really like, put people out there and entrepreneurs and business owners out there. And so it's kind of like, wow, I just love that. Like, I'm going to go ahead and grab that quote, and I wish I would have said it so I could be just as cool as you, but I will put your name on that. I will put your name on it, because that right there, if I got anything from this whole thing, like literally that freaking rocks, like right there, what you just said. So I just had to give you your props. As your face turns all red and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, seriously, because I just love it. Like, how many people do things like, oh, I'll have another chance to do that, or oh, I'm just gonna whatever. And so they
Yeah.
half everything that they do, and then they lay on their deathbed or they lay on the whatever, and they never have that opportunity again. And it's kind of like, I wish, I wish, I wish. So I love how you said that, because and anything that you did, even through your circumstances, you looked at everything and you said, I'm just going to keep on living. Because, you could have given up. You could have tapped
Oh
out
yeah.
when the doctor said, oh, you're going to not make it
Absolutely.
till this age.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm almost positive, being, HIV positive, I can't imagine that you went through a lot as a child. I mean, a lot, even just in building relationships, and I can't imagine how much pain and other things that you've gone through, and maybe even things still subconscious that that you deal with on that level. So it's kind of like the fact that you could say that I'm going to live like I'm only have one chance. I honor that in you, because some people cowered out because they posted a Facebook ad and it didn't get one like or something. It's like, and they're like, I feel like I'm just irrelevant and I'm nobody. And while it sounds, I'm making fun of it, it's not. I'm trying not to, because it's the truth. But that is a bit of like, it's tweaking. It's not like saying that you're bad. It's just saying maybe your ad sucked. It's
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean? But they equate like a failure with this in this experience, one and one together.
Hmm.
So I just like that. So in ending, what would you tell um what would you tell those fighting against their dreams? Individuals that are constantly pushing, they know they can do it, but like what we said, they're like, oh, I tried business before. I posted a Facebook post or a Twitter post and nobody liked it or nobody shared it, and it's been a month. You know,
Hmm.
what would you tell people that need to be conditioned to honestly know that, hey, this is, just do it and stop fighting against it?
Um, my go-to answer to that is YOLO. You only live once.
I love it.
and and how hype or whatever that abbreviation may be, we do only you do only live once. And if you're fighting yourself against it, lay down your arms against yourself. Put down the weapons and create some peace treaty with yourself. Give yourself some grace, some kind of room to play with, and just go out and do something. It doesn't have to be this big thing. You don't need to register your business tomorrow. Just start thinking about what you would like to do, something that really suits your personality, your character, your hopes, your dreams, your emotions, your community, whatever it is that really lights you up. Um, Try doing that. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But that doesn't mean that you are the problem. Um, that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. That doesn't mean that nobody cares. It's just that maybe you didn't do something right. And that's okay, because you can course correct, and then maybe, I mean, you can have, I don't know, 10 no's. You could ask 10 people for something in your favor, and they could all say no, 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 no. But at the end of the day, you only need one yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So I
it's
guess
so
that's what I would say.
I look at it as, honestly, like I look at it as a Facebook ad, like you might get a lot of no's, but if you just tweak your audience a bit, then eventually you're going to resonate with somebody that you're going to get a lot of yeses. And so it's
Mhm.
not a matter of you being the issue, but it's a matter, and obviously we're growing and we're adapting and we're, taking self-development and that type of thing. I'm not definitely negating that at all. But at the same time, sometimes we have this voice for people, and and we're speaking to a people that it's not really meant for. Maybe they've already overcome that and we're speaking to the person not overcoming it. So shifting your message a little bit, your voice, you can have more effect, be more
Mhm.
effective. So definitely thank you so much for coming on. And I had a lot of people ask for the replays and send me emails and like Facebook messages like, no, I need a replay. So still playing around with the times and stuff like that of when it's really good to kind of set that time. I'm not a big person like just kind of doing like every Tuesday it has to be this only day, so it's been fun kind of playing around with those times and stuff. But thank you so much for coming. Where can they find?
Thanks for having me.
Where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook. Just type in my name. I'm happy to friend people. I'm happy to talk with people. I'm a very social person. I love engaging with people. So you can definitely find me over there. You can also go to thenewrichlife.com. Where you'll find a bunch of stuff about me, my personality, and pretty much my journey towards that new rich life, and how I would love it if it would inspire and motivate others to pursue that same thing.
And you be on Snapchat a whole lot.
I am so in on Snapchat. Wow, I'm so in on Snapchat. Yeah.
And you didn't talk about Snapchat, and this dude is a snapper. Well, if that's what you call a Snapchatter, a snapper, a chatter.
A snapper. A snapper.
He's a snapper. He's a snapper. And they are hilarious. I am not even gonna lie. Like when he gets on the video, he has these crazy spurts of like,
it's I like Snapchat because it can be so very personal, and because you have kind of like that grace period where you know that everything you send out there will be gone within 24 hours. Even as like the most serious formal business person ever, you can still goof around, and 24 hours after, nobody will.
Wait a minute, a whole lot can happen in 24 hours.
Well, that is very true. That I have to, yeah, you're right. But yeah, I'm also on Snapchat, ENFP Elias, for anybody that wants to add me. We're gonna have so much fun on Snapchat and on Facebook and on all the other channels as well.
Maybe I should change mine to INTJ Tanya.
That's my thing. No. Well, if you want to and if you can, then why not? YOLO, YOLO. It applies to everything.
If you guys are not familiar with what we're talking about, you have to go to 16personalities.com. And it's really awesome. And it's a really great test. And honestly, it will tell you your personality to the T. And what's really funny is, like, I'm an INTJ, and and then my husband is an ENFP. And our personalities are so different, right? So I'm an introvert, he's an extrovert. There's just so many things. And it's so funny because the longer that we're together, the more that our personalities begin to mesh. And when I took the test, I could actually tell what was my husband, his influence in my life, and what was me. And how I look at other INTJs, like other people just like me, and I'm like, wow, tone it down a bit. Go get married to an ENFP, he balanced me out so well. If you have not taken your, what is it? The Briggs-Meyer? I always forget that.
Myers-Briggs Type Indicator.
There you go. And then I went and I got the actual book. It's called Please Understand Me, Part 1 and Part 2, and it breaks everything down. So it's phenomenal. Have your kids take it. Really, really cool. So it sounds like a plane. It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's a bird. No, it's a plane.
So what you just heard is what he does on his videos. It's freaking funny. He needs his own like TV show or YouTube station.
That is, don't put ideas in my head. We only have 24 hours.
You're a great personality type to actually like have your own show. That would be freaking funny.
Yeah. You really don't want to get me going on that idea. I'm very.
Well, I'm gonna be in your life for a long time, so I'm gonna keep on telling you about that. And one day, I'm gonna be in your audience. Like, I know him. I know him.
I know him. And then I'm gonna be like, "Who are you?" And then you say, "I'm Tanya." Hey, hey.
You know
It's
what?
all in good
You're
fun.
not nice. I
I
take back
am
everything
very
I
nice.
said. No, I'm playing.
I am so nice, and I know that. I'm such a nice person. Anyway,
All right.
maybe all of this shouldn't be on the record, all my
No, it
arrogance.
needs to be on the record because that's the fun part about it all. So we are on the record and we are live. I wanted to show you the great personality that he has. This is an awesome guy, awesome story, and still killing it out there as an entrepreneur. So really glad to have him in my life. And definitely go to the newrichlife.com. You can also do newrichlife.com/subscribe and get his new audiobook that has just come out. Welcome, Angelo. We are also wrapping up. And but you can definitely jump in the seat if you want and ask any questions. Tanya
Ooh,
Paxton here.
questions.
Questions. Tanya Paxton here. Oh my God, stop making me laugh. I can't focus when you're doing that.
I'm just being myself.
I
I'm
know.
just
Okay, don't be
doing what.
yourself for 1
Oh,
second
okay.
so I can close off the audio for the subscribers. Stop it!
Okay.
All right,
You
guys, can you see that
go.
we get a lot done? I promise you. But not live. That's all through email. That's when we're most productive. All right, guys. Well, Tanya Paxton, the Truthpreneur here. We're going to end this recording. Definitely
Yeah.
know that you can follow your passion because it is the pathway to your destiny. And so great to have this amazing guest on. Definitely go reach out to him on Facebook, Snapchat, and on his website. And if you want more, you can go to thetruthpreneur.com and find out more about the show and upcoming guests. All right, guys, have a good one.
Thank you.